We are back for another episode of The Social Genius, and let me just tease what we're going to be talking about today. Number one, it's time to be real, and we're going to tell you why. Number two, you need to stick with your home alone, and we're going to explain what the hell that means. We're going to give you more reason why you should be seriously considering LinkedIn and what you could be doing with it. And lastly, we're going to give you some content tips that you will definitely want to get out your pen and paper to take notes of. Tristan, let's start with BeReal. We've talked about this app before. Why is it making the news?
Dude, I think people are really looking to take that feeling of getting immersed and lost into social media and having it kind of control an hour, 2 hours of your life where you could just jump in really quick, come in and out, and almost like social media used to be when it first started. It has that Instagram feel of the first 2 years of Instagram, don't you think?
I would totally agree. And ironically, Instagram is taking inspiration, aka copying BeReal, with its newest feature, which is the dual camera mode. So if you're not familiar with BeReal, it is a new social media app. It had 3.3 million downloads in the first quarter of 2022. I don't have updated data as to where it's at now, but it's growing fast. And the whole idea is simply that you get prompted to post one time a day. You only get to post one time a day. And it's supposed to be spontaneous, meaning it's supposed to take away the filter of what our lives have now become on social media, and it's gaining steam and it's gaining popularity. And again, Instagram's copying it. And here's what I would say, and Tristan and I were talking about this off camera, is that my kids, I see them, I'm on it, and Tristan and I both had got on it immediately once we learned about it because, we like to be first to everything. And well, and I actually posted did you see my tweet today? It was actually a quote from, not to digress, but it was a quote from a book about a marketing book about it's better to be first than to be better, because everybody remembers who was first. They don't necessarily remember who was better. Anyways, not to get off track here, but the point is I'm noticing that my teenage daughters, who are, always kind of on the forefront, like most kids and teenagers are very active on BeReal. And that tells me that maybe a year, 2, 3 years from now, BeReal is going to become the social media app. And hey, for most of you, you heard it here first.
Yeah, dude, I'm on it. I mean, I don't post almost at all, but I'm on it. So to see how it goes.
I think every time we talk about it, it's just a little bit of an extra kick to you to remind you. Now I have a feeling I'm going to see Tristan Ahumada post on BeReal today. I'm going to do a BeReal in Santa Barbara, which obviously, if you're listening to this, that already happened. But it's at the time of this recording, we'll be in Santa Barbara together this week. So
I'll leave with this. I just looked up the top apps downloaded on the App Store for the iPhone as of today. Number 1 is BeReal.
Really?
Number 2 is TikTok. Number 3 is Google, then YouTube, then Instagram. Those are the top 5.
You need to share that in Drunk on Social.
I'm doing that right now as we're talking.
I love it. And would you then in the comments link to this article that we're talking about right now? So yeah, I think it's interesting. It's worth talking about. And once again, actually, the whole point of the article was that Instagram is copying it, which is par for the course, which is okay. Hey, it's Zuck's style and it works. And but it also tells me that hey, we should be paying attention to that platform.
I agree, man. I agree. Which moves into what's actually happening right now with TikTok, because you just had a viral video, which I love.
Yeah, currently, 24 hours old and 260,000 views. And Tristan and I were texting yesterday, and I told him, I said, I think the text was, or what did I tell you? Make sure you punch me the next time I question whether or not I should be posting Lake of the Ozarks content consistently.
That was funny. I remember you saying, well, it's not lake weather. I'm not going to go as much. I'm not going to post as much. I'm like, okay.
Stupid.
Okay. Next time I'm just going to call you out. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? What are you thinking?
Tristan's response was, it's your home alone. Explain what that means to our audience.
Obviously, one of our friends is London Lazarson. He's at the event here with Drunk on Social Genius. And he started all on, when he blew up, looking like the Home Alone guy. Like, if you would fast forward to what he looked like now, Macaulay Culkin would look like London Lazarson. So what he would do is he would parody the exact same situation that a younger Macaulay Culkin would do in the movies, side by side, and then he would do the same thing and then be like, hey, it's me, I'm just older. He did that continuously. It grew his audience. People were like, oh, it's the Home Alone guy. It's the Home Alone guy, even though it wasn't. And then he'd say, hey, I'm not the Home Alone guy. But he took that on for, it must have been a year consistently and posting 3 to 4 videos a day. Then he added Tesla when he would just throw spaghetti in his car. He did one today like that too. And then he started hiring writers to say, what else can I do? But the point is, he started with just Home Alone, and that blew him up because that was what he was great at, that he could relate with, saying, hey. And now we're looking at Jeff. It's like, dude, what is your Home Alone, right? The Ozarks. Yeah. Everyone's got a Home Alone. You just have to find it.
That's it. And then not just find it, but lean into it. And I think here's the one thing I think a lot of people struggle with. So, okay, Jeff or Tristan, let's use Jeff as an example. What does the Lake of the Ozarks have to do with your business? Like, how is that going to help your business? Okay, I get it. You've got 35,000 followers. Probably the majority as the reason is Lake of the Ozarks. But how does that help your business? How would you answer that question if somebody said, well, I have that, but what's that going to do for my real estate business?
Well, this is what you said. Okay. So you said this early on. And I was like, oh, that's such a great point, Jeff. Like, it's really about attracting an audience to be able to speak to the audience. Because a lot of people worry, well, I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I want to go that route. Dude, we were just talking about this, about tech. I'm like, I don't know if I want to do the tech thing, right? But at the end of the day, it's really going to grow an audience. And then in between, you can pepper in what you do for a living. And that's the key. You won't be able to do that if you don't have an audience. So stick to what you're amazing at, what people would gravitate to you, and lean in and say, that was cool. Give me some more of that. Yeah. And honestly, TikTok for Jeff here, definitely 100% the Ozarks. I watch the, I'm like, I send it to my friends. I shared that one with somebody. That was me sharing it, Jeff.
You were one of the 5,000 shares. Yeah, well, that's the crazy thing is that it got 5,000 shares, and none of my social, the videos that my business is about, they don't get shared like that. And it creates opportunity. I think to add to that too is the more, we always say virality doesn't really matter, and it doesn't by and large, but you look at a London Lazarson, and I don't think if you asked him 5 years ago, if you'd have said, this is where you're going to be in 5 years, he would have predicted that. And so it can create some pretty obnoxious opportunities for you, because the more followers that you have, the more eyeballs that you have on your content, that's why do we put our faces on billboards? Not because someone's going to drive down the street and call you, right? That's just not the way it works. It's muscle memory. It's reminding people consistently about you. And so the more that you can hack the algorithm, if I have 35,000 followers versus your 500, I have a greater chance of touching more people, which, in theory is going to create potentially more opportunities. And I'm looking forward to going deeper on this with London as well, because somebody who has hacked it and has won, and even ask him, like, what should that cadence look like? Because somebody who did Home Alone, you can't be producing Home Alone content every day. So I'm curious what his cadence is, because you'll run out. There's only 3 Home Alones.
Yeah, but it just shows you that Dude, it's the consistency. He'd show up and show up and show up some more, redo some of the same scenes, get creative on. There's you just can't run out the more you dive into it. Sometimes I think like, am I going to run out of content to say? Because sometimes I have to say the same thing in different ways. You just don't. You don't run out.
It's a good point. It's a good point. And I've thought that many times. And then every day you wake up and more stuff pops in. I swear, as once you become a creator, like to the level that we have, I have more content than I'll ever post. Because a lot of stuff that ends up getting buried that I never end up posting. In fact, it makes me think about some of the things that I still want to post that are now months behind, just because more recent relevant stuff pops up and then I post it and then it just keeps getting pushed. And once you change your mindset on this stuff, it changes you.
Do you feel like you're always behind?
Oh, hell yes. Never caught up. Even though I'm ahead on videos and that sort of thing, when it comes to content, there's very few days that go by that I'm thinking to myself, damn, I don't have enough. And there are days like for my stories, but when it comes to TikTok and Instagram Reels and all that, it's why we talk about scaling with VAs, which is another topic for another day. In fact, we've got an upcoming webinar on that. And if you could put the date on that so we can tease that to our audience. Actually, it might already happen before this actually gets released, but we're going to talk about how to scale with VAs on your social media.
Yeah. Dude,
all right, well, here's the moral of the story. Find your home alone. Jeff needs to stick with Ozarks. Tristan needs to get back to doing technology. This is his public call out. So anybody hearing this, send Tristan a text and remind him, do more technology on your TikTok and watch yourself. Because dude, you've got 500,000 view videos in there. You got 1 million view videos in there, don't you?
Yeah, the views on all the platforms that have had lots of views are always the tech ones, always, which is crazy.
That's insane. By the way, if you want to catch the webinar that we do on scaling with VAs, it's on August 31st. I believe this will be actually posted after August 31st. So go back to our YouTube channel, check it out. It'll be posted there. It'll probably be in the Facebook group. You'll be able to find it. If you need it, just let us know. Okay. You've got something on LinkedIn that you want to share. What is that?
It's actually an article on a website that we frequent. We get a lot of our information there. It's called What to Post on LinkedIn. I'm going to share the screen. And if you're listening in, don't worry, I'm going to read everything to you. It's called What to Post on LinkedIn. And I thought Jeff and I can dive into this and kind of go through all 5 of these and kind of expand on them. All right, so here's the top portion of this. It says, the 5 best types of content to post on LinkedIn. LinkedIn demographic makes it an ideal platform for publishing highly relevant, shareable content, especially in the B2B space. Here's why. 4 things. 61 million users are executives. That's a massive number. Do you know that, dude? I didn't know that.
It doesn't surprise me. We kind of touched on this at the NAREB conference when we were interviewing Casey. So it doesn't surprise me. There's probably more higher net worth people per capita on LinkedIn than any other platform, if I had to guess.
I think so, dude. Another 40 million are decision makers. Okay. It's pretty serious.
So there's a lot of wives on there. Okay, got it.
Yep. Yep, that's so true. After email, LinkedIn is the go-to channel for business-related content. Oh, dude, I thought it would be YouTube. Interesting.
Or
I didn't
Twitter,
know that.
even.
Yeah, 50% of all B2B social traffic comes from LinkedIn. Wow. All right. So, what should you post? Here are the 5 things. Number 1, which, by the way, when I do this, some of them do really well, some of them don't. But the fact is, some do. Blog posts, long form content performs best. And it says here, but be sure to make your teaser preview text very snappy. Oh, interesting. So make it shorter, make it connect with people. I think if we go look at, I've got blogs that I post directly onto LinkedIn, and those get shared pretty well. The Success Magazine ones, those get shared a ton. So that's very true. I would say if you're writing anything for your specific business, And let's just talk real estate. Jeff, you see all these agents and mortgage brokers, they write these amazing pieces about where the market is, how it's doing, and I don't ever see it posted as a blog into LinkedIn. It's a missed opportunity. So
it's almost a lost art, blogging. And we all talk about vlogging nowadays, but of all of the platforms, I would say LinkedIn is definitely blog centric. It favors blogging as much as it does anything else.
Yeah. Yep. And look, third-party content, right? I thought that was interesting. Don't just talk about yourself. That's for Instagram. I love how they added that. Also post engaging, reputable content from other publishers. For example, it says like TechCrunch. I would take it one step further and go visit Drunk on Social, grab pieces of content from there and then share them into there. That people will love that because it's valuable content for businesses. Next, native video. That's one thing I've been doing over the last 2 months, a lot more of. And I'm going to blame it on Jeff because Jeff said, hey, by the way, LinkedIn has live. I was like, what? I had to check. And he's like, yeah, it has live. And then I checked it. And now I've been doing a lot more LinkedIn live through Restream. And LinkedIn loves that. I don't know that a lot of people actually do. I'm going to stop sharing really quick. I don't know that a lot of people do the live on LinkedIn at all. Do you hear that often?
Almost never.
And I think one of the reasons was when I went over to LinkedIn, when I was checking the profile, you need to switch over to a creator profile. And I'll show you right here where it is. If you go over to your LinkedIn account, go to your main profile, you've got all of your area, all of your information towards the top. That's great. If you scroll down towards an area that says resources, you're going to see a little section that says creator mode, and you just turn it on. And when you turn it on, in a couple of hours, maybe in a few days, it should turn on your live as well. But more importantly, anytime you're live and people are visiting or watching your main profile, the top portion of her profile turns into a video screen and it starts playing that video. So I love that, dude. Creator mode on. Definitely everyone should be doing that. So
I had to go look, make sure I had mine on.
Yeah, you do, don't you?
I do. Yep.
All right, perfect. Next two here, plain text, alternative to visual heavy feeds. You also need a certain dose of pure copy, whether that's sharing tips, promoting hacks, or just discussing something you recently learned. And you know who does that pretty well? London. Remember London just typed up a few things with little emojis and boom, we copied it. We shared it with everybody.
It's a good point. You know who else does that? Jesse Itzler. Because I share his stuff.
Oh.
Yeah. Actually, it just reminds me because they're all both big creators. They both have, Gary Vee also.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Yeah. And now that that's mentioned, it's almost like it's the Twitter-ish, because Twitter is very text heavy.
Yeah. It's like a longer form of text on LinkedIn. I love it, dude. And you're right. Very similar to Twitter. And lastly, photography and illustrations. It says images, especially ones that are authentic, branded, or overlaid with text, can be showstoppers on LinkedIn. Plus, they aid information retention for visual communicators. So those are the 5 worth mentioning. Once again, blog posts, third-party content, native video, plain text, photography, and illustrations. So with native video also, if you have a video that you've recorded, just upload it directly into LinkedIn. It doesn't have to be live. Just wanted to add that part to it.
Great.
But I thought that was great, man. And then transitioning into more generalized topics for all social, we ran into an article titled 14 Tips for Generating Results as a Social Media Content Creator. And although our jobs in general aren't content creators, I thought there were 4 to 5 great things that this article also brought up that I wanted to touch on. And
we already gave him one tip. We gave him one tip on accident. Find your home alone and stick with it.
Find your home alone. That's ours, though. That doesn't belong to this damn article. That's so good. I want to start with number 4. It says define your target audience. I did that earlier on a coaching call in the morning where we went over the audience. And I think this is important because you're not going to connect with everyone. This is why I love Jeff's example here. Like, who is his target audience with Ozarks? And that's so great because now he's defining his target audience. And you know what all social media outlets love? They love niche, and they reward niche. And then they show it to more people that are similar, according to the algorithm, that are similar to other people liking his content. So defining your target audience is insanely, insanely important. I love that one, dude.
I agree. I actually like, and you know what, let's alternate on this. I like the first one, which is actually completely underrated by so many of you. And that is, take social media seriously. I think everybody looks at it as an extra, and we keep talking about this. Like, this would be no different than prospecting. You take prospecting serious. If you're in the leads, if you're into door knocking, if you're into calling expired, you take that serious. This should be treated in the same vein. And I think it's that simple. Take it seriously. Take it seriously. It'll give you the focus to do what you need to do to be consistent, to then see results.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. That is so, and we see it often with people. We saw it when we were speaking together in Tampa, where I think we broke through a lot of that. You brought it up. We broke through a lot of that initial feeling that this wasn't as important as they thought it was, because after it's like, oh, I didn't realize it was this important. I think breaking it down with what we normally do, identifying where the consumer is going. This is why I love starting with the top 5 most visited websites in the world. This is where the world is. And you're still dialing like it's 1970, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with dialing. I love dialing, but you're still doing that over social media. There's something wrong there.
Well, what do you want to do? I think is the other question. I was on Isaiah Colton's training today, and he was talking about that. He was talking about, what do you want to do? There's nothing wrong with some of the old school, strategies and techniques, but is that what you want to be doing for the next 10, 15, 20 years? Or would you rather be attracting business? And until you take this serious, it'll never happen.
One of the people I was talking to, the actually same person I was coaching this morning. I'm gonna stop sharing really quick to tell you the story. She's trying to grow her brokerage. Oh, you know her. She's with Village Properties. She's trying to grow her brokerage. And I said, you need to shift over. The strategy needs to be one reel a day, at least one reel a day on Instagram, and then repost to TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube Shorts. She's been doing it very consistently on Reels. And one of the ones she posted, which was, we hired 50 new agents to our brokerage in the last 8 months. And she said she started getting DMs just from that one post. She says she got 3 people that she's going to recruit from one reel, right? And I think we need to understand that the world we live in, the way we attract, the way we connect with people and reach more people is by creating content that's valuable, which leads me into number 5, Jeff. Provide actual value to your followers. Because I'm tired of seeing crap that's not valuable. I don't care if you only get 5 likes and 100 views. Was it valuable? Because if you do this consistently, your audience will start coming back. I think that's where we give up, Jeff, because if I'm only getting 5 views and 1 like, and it's been like 2 weeks, I'm going to start questioning, like, is this even worth it? It's a normal thing, right?
But for a lot of you listening, the reason why your engagement sucks is because your content sucks, because you are a spammer. And if you would spend more time leaning into your authenticity, like we always talk about, or leaning into real value. No, I'm not talking about real estate value, because they don't need that. They've got 2 million other agents doing the same thing. If you would just lean into whatever it is that actually brings your audience value, you will get a lot more engagement, and you will start cracking and hacking their feeds and be connecting with them a hell of a lot more often.
Yeah, dude. All right, number 6. Well, I chose number 6. I thought it was important. Choose your channel or channels wisely.
As in social media apps.
Yeah. So if you're just starting off, or you feel like this is a little too much for you, we always suggest that you just gravitate to where you normally go in and look at or lurk, right? Where do you normally go? Is it Facebook? Is it Instagram? And that's where we say that's probably where you're going to start. Like Jeff, for my son, he gravitates to YouTube. So I was like, well, where are you going to start? It's going to be YouTube, right? So he's got his little channel with 17 followers, right? And what is he posting? He posts what he loves, which is Minecraft and games like that. But it's all about showing up consistently on where you feel most comfortable, right?
And if you don't have a platform, my recommendation to everyone is you choose Instagram. And the reason why is you're killing two birds with one stone. So if you don't have a favorite or you don't have a go-to, do Instagram, connect it to Facebook, and now you're posting the same content one time and covering 2 channels. That is probably the best bang for your buck.
Yeah, that's true. I love that. Great tip on that, man. All right, next one that I thought was important, because I'm not going to go over all of them, but here's the one I liked. Make it easy for people to find you on social media. that should have been number 1, right?
Underrated as well.
Oh my gosh.
And how would you define that? Because I know how I would define it.
I think I would start here. I would start by Googling your own name on Google and see what pops up first and second. And then base it on that. Say, okay, if LinkedIn popped in first, then let me fix my profile. Let me fix it so that I know people can call me, people can reach out to me, and at least my profile is up to date, right? And then I'd start from the top and then work down. If Instagram is next, then work on Instagram. Twitter, that's how I would do it, man. How about you?
Yeah, I usually define this, that's true, but also I think a lot of people try to get too cute with their names, and they try to have something really catchy, like, Jeff sells St. Louis. And how does your audience know you? They know you by your name. You're not a naval aviator from Top Gun with a call sign. The name of the game is not to have the most creative name on social media. The name of the game is to be seen and to be found easier when your database wants to find you. So if your past customer, for example, stumbles upon Jeff sells St. Louis, they might just scroll right past it thinking, it just sounds spammy. But if they see Jeff Pfitzer, I know that guy, I'm going to go check that out, and it just looks more authentic. That's the one piece of advice I tell everyone, is that it's stop overthinking that stuff. Just simplify it, and not to mention, and make it consistent across every platform. Unless your name is Joe Smith, and then you have a little bit more of a struggle, but you can still make it consistent. Make it Joe Smith something to make it identifiable, and then make it the same across every platform.
Yeah. And number 10, keep your content relevant. How often do we just have people not keep their content relevant to their field, right? Like, it's great too. Jeff, this is why I love Ozarks, but at the same time, you also pepper in a lot of social media, and you keep it relevant to what's happening now, right? So
which is my business, which is one of my business. Yeah.
That's what I mean by relevant.
Right. And I think that's the point. So everybody doesn't lose focus on, so I need to be talking about, no, you don't need to be talking about social media. That's my business. You should be peppering in your business and make it relevant. I would say, actually, Tristan, you do it best. Relevant to, you do the real estate stuff, and you talk about what's happening in the real estate world. Is the market going to crash? What should you be paying attention to? What did Zillow and Open Door just do? Like, that's all relevant to your audience, which is real estate agents. Real estate agents, who's your audience? Is it real estate agents? Are you a recruiter? If you're a recruiter, then yes, it's real estate agents. If you're not a recruiter, then your audience is buyers and sellers. Do they care about what just happened with Zillow and Open Door? They don't. I'll tell you right now. Do they care if the market's going to crash? Not really. Maybe put one video out about it, but not 20, right? And so, what's relevant to them? What's going on in the community? What's the latest business just opened up? Go interview a restaurant, do that sort of thing. Where's the best parks? Where's the best schools? That's what's relevant.
Well, we won't know what's relevant unless we start with who's my audience, right? So that's key. And then the last one, which also happens to be the last one here, is consistency, right? Keep at it. Because it gets disheartening sometimes. We had a question in our group coaching thread, like our group chat that we have on Facebook Messenger. Somebody asked, is it okay to not post over the weekend sometimes? And I thought that was such a great question because it's okay. So, I mean, you can go 2 or 3 days sometimes by not put. It was Elena Flores. Thank you. And I was like, you know what? I just went the last week without posting anywhere except for Facebook, because I post to Facebook all the time, and YouTube. Okay, you know what? I posted everywhere but TikTok and Instagram Reels. Personally, it was just the team that was posting for us, but I didn't do it. And sometimes we need a break, because in that break we kind of reinvent and we bring ourselves back. It's like, hey, you know what? Maybe I should do it like this. So it's okay to take a break. What do you think, man?
I totally agree. It's like exercise. If you want to get into great shape, you've got to be neurotically consistent, but it's also important to rest. Because if you don't rest, you're going to get hurt. And if you don't rest on anything in your business, you're going to burn out. And so I agree with that. Or scale. And I think my suggestion was, this is a good reason why scheduling content can be beneficial. It's not something you want to lean on 100% of the time, but it's a great filler when you need rest.
Yeah, which is kind of what happened to me while we went to Tampa. You were posting a shit ton, and I wasn't posting that much. But we have a team, so it looked like I was posting stuff, but you see, it wasn't the authentic stuff that I normally post.
And
like this morning.
That's the scale. Yeah, that's the scale piece.
That's the scale, buddy. That's a scale.
By the way, what were you going to say this morning?
This morning I posted a video about me reading a passage from Marcus Aurelius's Meditations. So I was like, I don't care if one gets like 2 views. It made me feel good.
Yeah. Or last night you posted your family.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I know that's you posting, because I don't think anybody else is taking those.
No, that came from my camera. I was like, I'll post that one. So go. And look, if you all need help, we coach as a group. So it's a group setting. We love it. We're so passionate about it because we love this stuff. So jump in. It won't cost you an arm and a leg. But we do this every other week, and we also do other stuff, but that's probably the more fun one that we enjoy doing together.
Agreed. Well, this has been good. If you're interested in the links from any of these topics today, they will be in the show notes. So go grab them, and you know what? Go find your home alone, and go check out the 14 tips. I think we only covered about 5 or 6 of them. So go check all of those out, and go join the Drunk on Social group. Go follow us on the platforms, and
go share Jeff's Ozark videos. You're gonna love those.
Oh, I was actually gonna say share this podcast, but that's cool too.
That's good too. But Ozarks was really fun.
All right,
dude,
my friend.
You know what? Hold on. Yes, you need to do one of those other ones. Remember the Ozark show? Remember that one you had the voiceover?
Yeah, with the sound. Yeah. They haven't put new sounds in. I check periodically, and they have not put any new sounds in. So it's disappointing.
Have the team grab a piece of the audio from YouTube that's really good, and just maybe 30 seconds, and then clip it into an audio video of that. Dude, that would be insanely great.
Good point. More. You just keep finding more and more. Yeah, you should be my content manager, I think.
Done. Let's go.
Episode 75, signing out.